Hi, I'm Raylene, and welcome to Khaleesi Clues. We are only days away to the season premiere for Season 8 of HBO's hit series Game of Thrones. They have been releasing a lot of promotional teasers and new Season 8 set photos lately. I just wanted to put out a quick video for some of the things that I have noticed. So, shall we begin? I'm going to start off by talking about the newest teaser titled Aftermath. The very first image we see is a tattered Stark banner stirring in the wind. You can hear the buzzing in the background before any of the music or other sounds kick in. It's similar to the sound you hear when describing a ringing in your ears. This is the effect you get from prolonged exposure to loud sounds. So that sound alone clues us in on how damaging and how long this battle is going to be at Winterfell. As the camera pans away from the battle-scarred Stark banner, the first thing we see in the distance is the broken tower of the First Keep. This is, of course, the tower that we watched Jaime push Bran from the window back in Season 1. As more of Winterfell comes into the picture, you can see that this is also an image of the same terrace used back in Season 1, where Ned and Catelyn watched Bran while he was training in the courtyard. Later, in Season 6, Bran was seen on the same terrace with the three-eyed raven watching a young Ned Stark train with his younger brother Benjen. Winterfell is blanketed in undisturbed snow, and once again, it looks like a tornado went through it. I absolutely hate seeing Winterfell damaged like that. It almost looks like a ghost town, as if all life is completely gone. The only thing that is left are pieces scattered throughout the ruins of characters that we have all grown to love over the past 7 seasons. The camera then shifts to a lone dragonglass arrowhead sticking out separately from what appears to be a clutch of unused arrows. The sounds in the background during this scene sound like the screams of the Dothraki warriors. I may be looking a bit too much into that arrow, but I think there is something significant about it. This is not the first time our attention has been brought to this type of weapon in the released promotions. We had the image from the first trailer of a mystery hand holding onto a bow. The spikes from the clutch of arrows are reminiscent of the spikes that we see protruding from the dragons' heads. Let's all hope that this is not foreshadowing the loss of another dragon due to Qyburn and Cersei's scorpion weapon. That grouping of arrows kind of reminds me of the scene with Qyburn and Cersei firing the bolt into Balerion's skull in the dungeons of the Red Keep. The other thing I thought of was the fact that Dany is considered to be a dragon, so to speak. In Season 7, we heard Jorah warn her about her safety while traveling to Winterfell, how it only takes one angry man with a crossbow. He'll see your silver hair on the King's Road and know that one well-placed bolt will make him a hero, the man who killed the Conqueror. Maybe the person we saw holding a bow in the first trailer is actually a paid assassin posing as a northern archer in order to get within close access to Dany. I just have a horrible feeling about that hand and bow image from the first trailer, and now combined with the arrow from this teaser, whoever and whatever that archer is up to is going to be trouble, I fear. The Aftermath teaser then shows the Winterfell courtyard again, and you can see where things have been turned over or knocked over. The awning is beginning to fall in places. Then we see the direwolf statue that guards the entrance of the crypts coming into view. You can hear the snarling and growling of a wolf. It sounds very unhappy and angry, as if it has had its home invaded and destroyed. The camera then pans up to darkness as you see snowflakes falling. If there is anything else in that frame, we will have to wait for a lighter version to come out. The only thing I see other than the snowflakes is the window with a cross in it, or possibly the light coming through a window, casting its shadow on the wall. Maybe the light from the window is symbolic of hope or life in all of that darkness. As for the cross within the window, there are tons of things that the cross can symbolize. The teaser then flashes to another area of Winterfell. I'm not exactly sure where this is, but it looks similar to where Maester Luwin kept the ravens for Winterfell. The open bars look like cages, and you can see straw thrown on the ground of the raised pens. One of the only movements of this teaser is in this part of the video, as you see one of the compartments begin to open, knocking the snow off the ledge. I believe this is the same cage that Maester Luwin retrieved the raven from when he was getting a message out when Theon had attacked Winterfell. I think that particular cage opening is a callback to that scene. The camera then zooms in on Tyrion's Hand of the Queen pendant. The fact that we see Tyrion's pendant right next to these cages makes me think that this is foreshadowing what I have been predicting all along. Tyrion will once again find himself behind bars as a prisoner of Queen Cersei. I thought it was also interesting when you take into consideration that Sansa has so many bird referrals throughout the series. With Tyrion's pendant found close by the little bird cages, I definitely think it is symbolic of their reunion in Season 8. The next image we see is Arya's sword, Needle, stuck upright in an object. The room itself looks similar to the area that we watched Sansa and Littlefinger pass through when she was talking about food being shipped into Winterfell. It definitely looks like some type of storage area. I'm thinking it might possibly be food stored, boxed, and bagged in preparation for the long night. Although from this image, it looks as if it has been ransacked. Dany did burn the food that was being transported to King's Landing a while back. If Cersei has sent the Golden Company to attack Winterfell, she may have also ordered for the troops to take the food supply. Arya's sword Needle reminds me of how the sword Excalibur is always pictured, like the sword in the stone. There are many similarities from that story, especially to Jon's storyline. I'm not saying that Arya's sword is anything like Excalibur, I'm just saying the imagery looks reminiscent of it. Again, we see that same window with a cross in it. Light is shining outside the window and also down upon the sword. Literally, a sword in the darkness, the light that brings the dawn. Like I said, light is symbolic of hope and life. The sword itself can be seen as a cross too. The cross in the window is called a Latin cross. The crosspiece is placed slightly above the center and is representing the shape of man with arms opened. The cross has many different symbolic meanings. Among them are death and life, hate and love, violence and peace, defeat and victory, just to name a few. During this scene, you can hear the sound of steel hitting steel. It actually sounds like the sparring match that Arya had with Brienne back in Season 7. Next we see the wall walk behind the battlements along the top of the castle. You can see the jagged pieces of dragonglass along the tops of each of the raised sections. This could very well be the same area that we witnessed Arya fighting during the previous trailer. Smoke rises from the tipped-over canister that once held the flames that lit the walkway. All of the warmth seems to have left Winterfell. Winter has come to House Stark. You can hear the whistle of the wind blowing. That same wind carries over to the next image for the teaser. We see Lyanna's feather that Robert placed in her hand back in Season 1. This feather is special. We have seen it referenced a few times in both the show and promotional videos released. This feather is from a bird called the guinea fowl. It has some very interesting symbolism. The guinea fowl is a bird that is known to symbolize the human effort at survival. It is considered to be a sacred creature with its colors of black and white, similar to day and night or the light and the dark. It is also thought of to be a bird of protection. I know a lot of people believe this feather symbolizes Sansa, and I can totally understand why and see the bird connection. I believe it symbolizes a child. The feather represented Jon in Lyanna's hand from the beginning of the story, and I believe it represents the children that will be born this coming season. A child, there is nothing more symbolic for the effort of human survival, and there is nothing more sacred. A child is amazingly strong, yet still delicate like a feather. I will be discussing this more in my future videos too. I truly believe that this feather symbolizes not only Jon and Dany's baby, but Sansa and Tyrion's baby for Season 8, along with the future of human survival. We see the cold wind pick up the feather and follow it as it slowly drops to the bottom of some stairs where Bran's broken wheelchair is laying. You can also hear at this point the sound of ravens in the background. The stairs are symbolic of Bran always wanting to climb. I also believe this is symbolic of Bran's accumulation of the three-eyed raven's knowledge, things that men have forgotten over the years since the first long night. Knowledge that the Night King does not want Bran to learn. A push out the window, a fall down the stairs, all symbolic of Catelyn's statement to Bran from his dream. No more climbing. Or should she have said, no more learning. Bran's climbing represents ascension in power and knowledge. One last thing about this image. The area under and a little beside the toppled wheelchair looks blackish rather than the stark white of the snow all around. It made me think of the mist of black dust we saw the original three-eyed raven produce when he was killed by the Night King. The wind continues to howl, and you can faintly hear what I think is the sound of a galloping horse. You see Jaime's golden hand laying in the snow. I think that's the only part of this teaser that I would actually be happy about. I hope Jaime does lose his golden hand and gets something a little more useful for that right arm of his. The camera then passes on to the vision of Dany's three-headed dragon chain and pendant. It is draped over a snow-covered wheel. This, of course, being symbolic of her goal of breaking the wheel a couple of seasons ago. You can now hear the cries of her dragons in the video. The final image we get is Jon's sword, Longclaw, laying in the snow. We had seen Jon running in the previous trailer, and he did not have Longclaw. Now, whether that means he lost his sword during the battle, or if by any chance the sword broke, remains to be seen. In this teaser, you can see blood on the pommel, but you cannot see the sword completely intact. It could be that the pointy end of the sword is just buried in the snow, prohibiting us from seeing the full length. The scariest part to me is that I think that is Jon's hand slowly being revealed under the pile of snow. As the wind blows away the loose snow, it looks to me as if his hand is being exposed. I haven't gotten to any of my Jon predictions yet for my channel. This is one of the predictions that I have contemplated for his character. I have worried that we might see Jon frozen or nearly frozen once again, as we've seen during Season 7 when he fell into the icy waters. Dany has survived 2 fires so far. Maybe Jon will have the same fate and have to survive 2 icy challenges. You can also hear the drums banging and the wind picks up as you barely can see what looks like the Night King leaving Winterfell. The trailer then ends with a final black screen. The long night is here. That is going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed my breakdown. Let me know what you all think in the comments. Hopefully, I at least covered the majority of the clues they gave us. I'm sure I probably looked way too far into the teaser, but you know, that's what I do. I watch and I obsess over things. If you like this video, please remember to hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget to turn your notification bell on so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thank you to all of my current subscribers for their kind support, and thank you for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day.